Moving on to the second half of the program, we now join newly elected Mayor of Auckland, John Banks, about what he has to say about local issues and governing issues around Auckland. Now, there's a lot of debate around what's going to happen with Eden Park, but I'm sure he's got a lot more to think about. So let's join John Banks in the second half of Open the Mirror.
The first one to return to the office in 40 years, ex-Auckland Mayor, and now the Mayor. How do you feel about this long journey?
Greatly privileged, very, very honoured. 40 years ago, I knew Sir Dovmar Robinson, the Mayor of Auckland at the time, and he came back after 3 years. So after 40 years, well, we have another revisit of history, so it really is an honour, and I'm very pleased about it.
Now, what are the challenges you face in this term?
Delivering affordable progress, making sure that we stay with our knitting, that's core business, openness and accountability, and consistent, decisive leadership. Auckland desperately needs strong leadership.
Can you expand on these areas that you've mentioned just a while back?
Well, people have been hurt badly by exorbitant rate increases, driven by poor spending and wastage, and people want to make sure that they live and work in Auckland City but can afford to pay the rates. Over the last 3 years, rates have substantially increased, and it's hurt people, especially small business people and some of our friends on low incomes and the elderly. So I want to hold rates at a very sound and sensible level. I want to make sure that all spending is first-class spending. I want to get rid of wastage. It's important we stay on focus and commit ratepayers' money to core council business, footpaths, roads, street lighting, parks, reserves, those sorts of things. So Auckland City will look after what Auckland City has to do, and the government can look after what the government should do. As well as that, we need consistent, decisive leadership. The people of Auckland want to know where they stand on the major issues. With myself, there's no ifs or buts or maybes. It's all reasonably black or white, and people like that kind of leadership.
Now, you mentioned about rates as well, controlling rates. Now, you will not honor the previous mayor's commitment of giving $30 million for the Eden Park's upgrade. Why have you decided to do that? I mean,
socialists are very good at spending your money. Most socialists don't have much money of their own, but when they get their hands on the public checkbook, they are reckless and arrogant. And the previous council was reckless and arrogant with your rates. I'm going to be very prudent. People voted for me because I said I will be careful in the way I spend their money, and I'm going to commit to that. So all spending will be scrutinised. All projects will be gone through line by line. And this council is not a fairy godmother. The government has a $2.6 billion cash surplus this year. So the government can spend some money on upgrading grandstands at Eden Park, and outside of the football stadium, we'll spend money on buses, footpaths, roading and trains. That's economic infrastructure.
But aren't you worried about the consequences now that you have picked up the gauntlet and thrown it at the government by stopping this huge amount of money?
It's called consistent, decisive leadership. It's called honouring election promises. It's called sound and sensible public policy management. Don't mistake my gentleness and kindness for weakness. The city is looking for leadership. The government has a role in our lives, and they've taken more money this year than they need in taxes. Why would I borrow money to build grandstands at Eden Park when the government has $2,600 million in a piggy bank?
Next week. who, taking advantage of the window of opportunity presented to them by 9/11, in order to expand their powers, in order to expand their budget and personnel.
Up in the Mirror on satellite, cable and terrestrial networks.